Hummingbirds are considered the smallest birds known in the world. In fact, due to their small size, they are also known as flybirds in some places. These little animals are unique, not only because of their size, but also because of the unique colors that can only be found in their feathers. Hummingbird feathers are unique in that they have shades of color that have never been observed in any other species of ajes. Hummingbirds have bright colors, quite strong, which makes them look like small phosphorescent dots. If we talk about the range of colors these little leaflets can have, we can find from the most vibrant reds, strong and electrifying blues, striking yellows, lush greens and emerald shades. If we look at them closely, we notice that the colors of their plumage generally appear metallic and litmus, so the reflection of sunlight makes them that much more distinct. Aside from the colors, another of the hummingbird's most striking features is their beak. They are long and very thin. Some species of hummingbirds have very long beaks, reaching a size equal to their body size, and also have a slightly curved shape, which makes them appear to be slightly twisted upwards. Although they are calm and obedient animals by nature, they can be aggressive and very nervous if they feel threatened and do not have the presence of another member of their species. When hummingbirds need to defend themselves, they use their elongated and thin beaks to attack an opponent. They become a kind of needle that can pierce and injure the body of what makes them feel vulnerable. In addition, these animals have a great aversion to those who play with their food. Hummingbirds are very territorial in this regard, so they protect their food, even if it means risking their lives. The brightly colored and mesmerizing hummingbirds are one of the most interesting of the nearly 10,000 bird species in the world. Get to know interesting information and tidbits about hummingbirds that you may have never heard of. Depending on the species, the hummingbird can flap its wings around 50 times per second, and up to 200 times per second, on average. As a result, they can fly at speeds greater than 54 kilometers per hour. The average heart rate of a hummingbird is over 1,200 beats per minute. By comparison, the average human heart rate is only 60 to 100 beats per minute while resting. There are over 340 species of hummingbirds. Hummingbirds are the smallest migratory birds in the world. Hummingbirds are the second most abundant bird species in the world. These birds can be herbivorous or carnivorous depending on the species concerned. Most eat nectar harvested from flowers with long beaks and sticky tongues. Some, however, can catch tiny insects in flight and feed on them. A hummingbird's brain makes up 4.2% of its weight, proportionately, the highest of any bird. For comparison, human brains account for 2% of our body weight. Based on anatomical studies of these animals, it was found that 30% of the weight of these animals is concentrated in the muscles located in their thoracic region. Extremely necessary muscles for them to be able to make those flights and flap their wings so fast. Hummingbirds can migrate whether it's night or day. Most hummingbirds from the United States and Canada migrate more than 3,000 kilometers south in the fall to spend the winter in Mexico or Central America. Before migrating, the hummingbird builds up a layer of fat equal to half its body weight to slowly use this energy source during flight. There are 6 common species of hummingbirds. Hummingbirds cannot walk or jump, although their feet can be used to move sideways when seated. It has tiny legs with 4 toes. Depending on the species, hummingbirds live an average of 3 to 5 years. Although there are individuals who live up to 12 years. Hummingbirds can look like dead birds when they are lethargic. Because they need to conserve energy, hummingbirds don't spend all day flying. They spend most of their time in their roosts digesting food. The ruby hummingbird has the longest migration of all hummingbird species. These hummingbirds fly more than 4,000 kilometers from their breeding sites in Alaska and Canada to their winter habitats in Mexico. Hummingbirds regularly visit more than 1,000 flowers a day. They can see every color we humans can, and their eyes can process ultraviolet light, which means they can see some colors too that we can't. Hummingbirds have 1,000 to 1,500 feathers, which is the lowest number of feathers of any bird species in the world. Not only do they don't need that many feathers due to their small size, but fewer feathers make them lighter, making them easier to fly. The dazzling color of the hummingbird's throat is not caused by the pigmentation of the feathers, but rather by the iridescence in the arrangement of the feathers. Light level, humidity, viewing angle, wear, and other factors affect how bright and colorful your throat can be. Due to their size, they have many enemies in the natural environment. They must watch out for reptiles and amphibians that eat them willingly. They are also eaten by fish and squirrels. Hummingbirds have a very good orientation in the field and reliable memory. They easily find places where they previously managed to obtain the food they need. According to studies conducted on hummingbirds living in the wild, at least 50% of them die before reaching 1 year of age. This is due to increasingly bad weather conditions, as they have a large number of predators. Some species of hummingbirds may come into contact with at least 1,000 flowers a day. These animals spend a large part of their lives eating. They can eat 8 to 10 times an hour, adding that they can eat up to 240 times in a whole day. About 25 to 30% of a hummingbird's weight is found in its pectoral muscles. These are the broad muscles of the chest, mainly responsible for the flight. Hummingbirds are the smallest warm-blooded animals in the world. The flying technique and the possibilities of hummingbirds also deserve attention. Bird watching in flight can be compared to spectacular aerial maneuvers. These birds can hover in the air and then fly sharply backwards. They are the only birds on our planet that can fly backwards. They can also move sideways. To save energy overnight, the hummingbird enters a state of hibernation known as lethargy. Hummingbirds are endowed with a third set of eyelids. These translucent flaps of skin known as films act as natural goggles in flight. Hummingbird nests are the size of a walnut. Hummingbirds are found only in the Americas, and most of the 400 species are found only around the equator. The ruby-bearded hummingbird's brain is no bigger than a blueberry, but the bird can remember the exact locations of flowers and feeders when it returns to its place after its winter migration. The hummingbird's tongue is forked at the end. It is also longer than the entire beak. The hummingbird laps the nectar from flowers and feeders the way cats drink water. It does so at a rate of 15 sobs per second. Hummingbirds feed on nectar and prefer brightly colored, trumpet-shaped flowers. They most often choose red and orange colors, followed by yellow, pink, violet and blue flowers. Some of the favorite flowers are evergreen honeysuckle, common honeysuckle, American millet, sage and lobed honeysuckle. However, about 85% of the hummingbird's food volume consists of small, shellless insects. The ruby hummingbird flies 700 kilometers non-stop across the Gulf of Mexico in both spring and fall migrations. Hummingbirds have no sense of smell, but have very good eyesight. Hummingbird researchers believe that their eyesight allows them to see a food source from 1,200 meters. Female hummingbirds do all the work, building nests, laying eggs, feeding and caring for chicks without the help of a male. Its only job is to impregnate the female. This bird needs to consume about half of its weight in sugar per day, and the average hummingbird feeds 5 to 8 times an hour. In addition to nectar, these birds also feed on many small insects and spiders. Hummingbirds drink nectar from flowers, which gives them a good source of glucose energy, and occasionally catch insects to increase their protein levels. Hummingbirds are birds found only in the Americas, mainly in South America. Apart from insects, hummingbirds have the highest metabolism of all animals due to the need to flap their wings quickly. The hummingbird uses its tongue, which acts like a tiny pump, to suck up the sweet fluid it is looking for from the flowers. Hummingbirds in the United States are important pollinators for wildflowers. 2,000 species of pollinating birds around the world play an important role in maintaining global ecosystem health and food supply. The smallest bird species on our planet is the Havana hummingbird. Its body weight does not exceed 1.8 grams, and the average length is approximately 5.4 centimeters. The wingspan is only 7.5 centimeter. The length of the bird rarely exceeds 5 centimeter. Half of it is for the tail and beak. The species occurs in Cuba, hence its name, Havanese. You can also find another term in the studies. Its second name is bumblebee, due to the sound made by its wings as they travel at 80 beats per second. In just one day, a bird can visit up to 1,500 flowers. The nest that it inhabits is as miniature as the representatives of this species. It is only 3 cm in diameter. When constructing it, the bird uses grass, moss and a spider's web. The ready nest is shaped like a basket. The smallest bird, the smallest nest, and the eggs must also be the smallest. The incubation of 1 or 2 animals, because this is what the female endures at one time, takes place for 2 or 3 weeks. Hummingbird eggs weigh 0.25 grams. Probably no one will be surprised by the fact that only the female takes care of incubating them. In addition, she builds, and only she, a nest and looks after the chicks. The largest hummingbird species is the giant hummingbird, also known as the great hummingbird. Indeed, for a hummingbird it is quite a sizable one. The total length of its body is just over 20 centimeters, the same as its wingspan. A bird found in South America weighs between 18 and 24 grams. The gigantic population is estimated at 10,000 individuals. Interestingly enough, it is the only species of a hummingbird whose wing movements are visible to the human eye. Female hummingbirds lay only 2 eggs and build a nest in preparation for laying eggs. Hummingbirds don't mate for life. When the eggs hatch, the babies stay in the nest for 3 weeks and the male goes to look for another mate. Snakes, lizards, squirrels, fish, and even frogs can prey on low-flying hummingbirds. Attacks by other, larger, aggressive birds are also common. In short, they do not have an easy life.